Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Perry Girl Life Notes in the chat already. Hey, Happy New Year to Perry Girl Life Notes. Happy New Year to you. Okay, I appreciate that coming on in here and representing. Thanks, guys. You guys, the guys that are in the replay, you guys are gonna see this in a minute. Come on in the chat and join the conversation, guys. I'm gonna wait till some more people come in the chat. Perry Girl Life Notes, how was your New Year so far? How was your New Year so far? I hope it was spectacular. I hope you had a good time. Hope you didn't work too hard, and all that stuff. Okay. This is a new year, new season, just like every time, just like any other cycle. This is a time to make some changes. Make some power moves for your life, and all that good stuff. So appreciate it. Come on in the chat, say hi. Don't be shy, guys. Calibrate Tools and DIY back at you in the year 2023. We're going to start it off on a good note. Yeah, we're all about tools, home improvement, DIY, and all that good stuff. But what good is that if you don't talk about safety, right? What good is talking about how to use tools and this and that and all that if you don't talk about how to use them safely? Okay, so you can come out on the other end with all your fingers, all your toes, and not sliced up like me, right? Because I mean, just the other day I sliced my finger up. Just it just I don't know, man. I got to get a grip on the safety thing. So maybe that's why I talk about it so much. But it is one of those things we can't avoid. Uh, we should repeat. I mean, just almost ad nauseum, right? Because it's that important. Is that important? Perigirl Life Notes did all those, but looking forward to it improving in 2023. That's right. We're all looking forward to that, guys. We're all looking forward to improving in 2023, whether that's financially, relationally, spiritually, all that good stuff, right? Economically, that's what it's about, right, guys? So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay. Once again, safety. I'm all about safety. You guys are probably going to get tired of me talking about it, but I think it's a good way to kick off the new year because I know since watching my channel, a lot of you guys are probably going to start doing your own projects, DIY, and all that good stuff. Yeah, toot my own horn. Yep, that's right. Somebody got to do it, right? If I don't do it, who else is going to do it? All right, guys. So let's jump into it. Okay, let's talk about some safety tips. It's not going to be a long live. Just want to cover a few things, guys. If you're going to do a DIY project or anything like that, make sure you plan it. Okay, make sure you plan it well. You don't just jump right into it. And next thing you know, you realize, hey, I should have did it this way, and I should have bought this, should have bought that. You can really cost yourself a lot of money, by not planning ahead. There is such a thing as economic safety, right? There is such a thing as doing economically dangerous things, all right? Especially when it comes to, you know, DIY and stuff like that, home improvement projects, because we like to dive in and we spend all this money only to find that we didn't get the right permits done, we didn't have the permits prepared, or something. It's always the little things slash big things that end up costing us a lot of money. Okay, so make sure, number one, plan ahead. Make sure you have the funds, the budget to um, complete the task and all that stuff. If you're going to hire a contractor, do some background research on them. Make sure they're legit, and so you won't pay the price later, right? So don't just dive head first. Plan. All right, if you're gonna do like small jobs around the house, whatever that is, whatever your aptitude level is when it comes to DIY and stuff like that, everybody's different. Um, but one thing that doesn't change is how your when it comes to tools, right? You wanna buy the right tools for the job, okay? And I'm not saying go spend um, a fortune on tools, but you definitely want to get the highest quality tools that you can afford, okay? And you want to be able to handle them well. You want to read the instructions, read that manual 2 or 3 times, okay? The manual will set you straight, right? You don't have to guess. And they got YouTube. They got people like me on YouTube to guide you through it as well, okay? So choose the right tools for the job. You don't have to spend a fortune on it. You don't have to go crazy on tools, but definitely you don't want to buy low quality tools because they can bite you in the you know what later, right? They can break on you, and things that break cause accidents, and so you want to definitely think about that, especially when it comes to power tools, drills, things like that. Circular saws, any kind of saw that's a power driven tool. Be careful. Be careful, guys. You don't want the cheap stuff, right? Anything that has to do with electricity, if you got to hook it up to some electricity to use it, you don't want to buy some low quality stuff. Okay. You definitely want to also, if you're going to use old tools from last year or 5 years ago, because I know a lot of you guys, uh, you're really good with your stuff. You take care of it, but you still want to inspect your tools, over time. You want to inspect them regularly, right? You want to make sure that the cable is not frayed or anything like that. The part's not missing, broken, or if you shake it around, you hear something loose inside. Hey, that could be a telltale sign. Maybe you dropped it at some point and something broke inside, right? And so you want to inspect it on the regular, okay? So you don't end up using a faulty tool that can harm you or someone else. So yeah, inspect your tools, okay? Safety tips today, guys. Safety tips for the DIYer in the house, okay? Perigo Life Notes, always safety first so you can see tomorrow. Absolutely, right? A lot of people neglect that part of the equation, right? They got this thing called OSHA. I forget what it stands for, but you have to be certified in, I guess, certain industries. I think OSHA is the standard for safety for certain industries, right? And you got to be certified. There are people that are actually certified in safety protocol, and there's a reason for that. That's their job. That's how they make their living, by going out and inspecting construction sites, inspecting new home builds, because they find something that's faulty that can cost the lives of a lot of people, and that's you got to be on top of that. It's called quality control in the manufacturing sector. Yeah, guys, come on into chat. Calibrate Tools back at you, 2023. I would love for you guys to come on in there and say hi and give your input. This is not just about me talking. I do the lives because I want to involve the audience and don't be as formal as I am on the other videos. So would love your input. If I'm wrong about something, if you want to correct me on something, hey, feel free to do so. I don't have an ego when it comes to that. Just don't be disrespectful, okay? That's all I ask. But I would love your input, and come on in and share it, okay? So let's continue. Okay? Let's see here. All right. So another thing people neglect is the proper clothing, right? Proper clothing when you're out there doing the work. I seen, yeah, you seen guys out there mowing the lawn in their flip flops or barefooted. I mean, okay, it may feel good, but if that rock or whatever it is flies from under that blade from the lawnmower and hits you, it's not going to feel good. Okay, so wear the appropriate footwear, right, to protect your feet. I work in a shop. Do a lot of metal fabrication, welding, and stuff like that. We got a lot of metal flying around, hot metal. I'm talking glowing hot metal. Okay, and if you're not wearing the right footwear and that thing drops on your foot, it doesn't even have to be the metal that you're welding. It can be anything in the shop. It could be something heavy, and you're not wearing the steel toe shoes. You may suffer a very serious injury to your feet by something falling on it. Okay. So wear the appropriate footwear, not to mention sparks, right? There's a lot of sparks flying where I am, and those sparks seem harmless, but they're not. Okay. Man, it's like fireballs raining down on you, through your feet, through your shoes. So if you're not wearing the right shoes, they will burn through your shoes. You will feel it. Okay. I don't care how much, even if you're wearing the proper footwear, you can still feel sparks. Okay. That's one thing about it, right? You can't escape all of it, but you definitely got to do your best to wear the appropriate clothing, right? I told a story before. I was grinding. I was using a grinding wheel to grind away a weld, and I wasn't paying attention, and the sparks were flying. Sometimes sparks fly and they hit you, and they seem harmless. They don't do anything. And in this case, I was welding, and the sparks were flying, and the whole time it was hitting my shirt, right, my sleeve. I didn't look. I didn't pay attention. Then I looked down, and my sleeve had caught fire. And hey Claudette, how you doing? Happy New Year to you. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good New Year, Claudette. Yeah, so um, I looked down and my sleeve was on fire, and of course I stopped, took off my shirt, threw it, as quickly as I could. But I didn't escape. I didn't escape the aftermath. I'll tell you that. I did not escape the whole aftermath. Matter of fact, if you can see, I don't know if you can see a mark right here. See that? That's the aftermath. Yep, that's the aftermath, and that was months ago. Probably almost a year ago. So, yeah, wear the appropriate clothing if you're going to be out in the sun. If you're going to be out in the sun doing yard work or something like that, working on your house, working on your car. Put on some sunscreen if you need to, or wear a hat or shades or something like that. Protect yourself from those UV rays. Okay. Claudette says, I was thinking of fire safety precautions at home, and always handy to own a fire extinguisher. Also check smoke alarms. Absolutely, Claudette. Good point. Yeah. A lot of people don't think about having a fire extinguisher in the home or in your car as well, right? Because, stuff happens in your car, right? Yeah, fire extinguishers are very, very important. Have them you can have more than one in strategic places. Kitchen is one of them. The kitchen is one of them, right? You're doing a lot of cooking, stuff can, catch fire if you're not careful. Have a few strategically placed around the home, just in case you need to, handle business. Claudia says, okay, also, I have burnt my jeans and socks vertical welding on the MIG. Yeah, absolutely, Claudette. Claudette's a student, actually. She's one of my welding students, and yeah, she knows how it feels to get burnt, right? She knows how it feels to get burnt by those sparks. It's no joke. Perry Good Life knows cold weather also presents a different set of cautions. Absolutely. Yep. People underestimate cold weather. I mean, we all heard stories about people getting frostbitten, right? Frostbitten and hypothermia and all that stuff. You don't want to be out in the cold, right? Sweating, right? People catch pneumonia, all kinds of stuff, right? Things that we take for granted, right? Even me at times. Okay. So yeah, but once again, fire extinguisher is very important. Fires can happen anytime. I just told you about what happened when those sparks, those quote unquote harmless sparks hit my sleeve, right? It didn't burn right away, but because they were so concentrated in one stream of sparks in one spot, it burst into flames and burnt me on the arm there. So things like that you want to be careful with. Okay. That's why you always want to keep a first aid kit handy. How many of you guys got a well stocked? I'm not talking about just some box sitting on the counter or whatever in the back of a cabinet with the first aid sign on it with nothing in it. Do you guys keep your first aid kits stocked? Do you check to make sure it has everything in it? Bandages, ointments, salves, bombs, whatever you need in the first aid kit, right? For cuts and burns and all that stuff. Make sure it's stocked, especially if you like working with your hands, you like working on your car, like working, on your house or whatever. Things are going to happen. You're going to get a splinter in your finger. You're going to need, stuff like that. Right? Yeah, by the way, those splinters in your fingers, you always have a tweezer or something on hand, if you don't have somebody to get it out for you, you know what I mean? Have that stuff on hand so you won't be suffering in silence. Okay. Be aware of your surroundings, guys. Be aware of your surroundings. Okay. Like if you're working with paint or any kind of chemical, right? Make sure the place is well ventilated. That's another thing people kind of neglect. They think, oh, I'm just going to go into this room with all the windows down. I'm going to start painting. First thing you should do is make sure the place is ventilated. Open the doors, open the windows, open all vents to have them. So, because some of those chemicals are so strong, whether it's a paint or some kind of cleaning agent, right? They're very strong, very caustic. Okay, they can burn your lungs. That's depending on the how caustic it is, and the warnings are on the bottles. I mean, so make sure everything is well ventilated. Open those windows. Okay, you don't want to faint or fall out and in the middle of your job because you inhale some noxious fumes, or you don't want to become extremely sick. Okay, because you inhale some noxious fumes. Okay, safety first all the time. Okay, I stress that on this channel. Okay. Yeah. Anything like if you're working with electricity, changing out a socket, changing out whether it's in the wall, whether it's changing a light fixture, ceiling fan, you're dealing with electricity. Okay. I'm talking about some minor electrical work. I'm not talking some major overhaul of the electrical panel or anything like that that a professional would do. But if you're going to tackle those jobs, you want to make sure you shut off all the power. Go outside and go to the panel and shut it off. If you don't know how to shut it off, find out how to shut off your electrical or the power to your home before you work on anything. Okay. Because believe you me, when you get electrocuted, everybody's been shocked, every now and then. It's not a good feeling. Right. And if you get shocked, or you're being electrocuted and somebody who doesn't know any better tries to save you, they're going to be electrocuted by you and die as well. So always shut the power off, right? Just like I said, if you're working on your tools, power tools especially, go ahead and unplug the tools, right? Unplug the devices. As simple as that. Takes a couple of seconds. Okay, let's see. All right. Fire extinguishers. Claudette brought that up. Great. If you're going to tackle a job and you're having a lot of doubts about it, don't try to be a hero. Okay, don't try to be a hero if you know that's beyond you. You're trying to impress the neighbor, or you're trying to impress somebody, impress your wife. Oh, look. Tell the wife, oh, look what I can do. I'm a man's man, and then you end up, in the hospital because you're trying to be a hero. There's nothing wrong with calling in a professional. That's the wise thing to do, right? That's the wise thing to do. Especially when you're talking about electrical work and all that stuff. Also, guys, I talked a lot about this stuff when I talk about yard work and working in the house. Go to the city or something. Go to your city or municipality and find out where all your gas lines and relevant, piping or plumbing is in your home and outside, because a lot of times it's underground. So if you're digging, and you hit rupture one of those lines, God forbid it's an electrical line running underground. You don't want that to happen. Okay. So once again, it cycles back to planning, right? Cycles back to planning. You always want to plan, be smart about your moves in that way. And of course, the infamous friend called a ladder, right? How many people love to climb ladders? I like to climb ladders because it gets me to places I can't get to if I don't do otherwise, right? But if you don't climb them correctly, the ladder could be your worst enemy. Okay, so yeah, it's actually one of the number one causes of accidents, right? DIY accidents. I think falling off a roof is another one. Yeah, so when you climb those ladders, make sure they're stable. Make sure, if you got a shaky ladder and you're not too sure about it, because it's been abused, well, just maybe you don't want to use it, or have 2 or 3 people there holding the ladder for somebody you trust holding the ladder for you while you climb and do whatever you have to do, right? Especially when you're coming down off of something, right? If you're coming off the roof, have somebody holding the ladder for you, because and don't try to skip steps on the ladder. Take it one step at a time. You don't have to try to look fancy. I've seen people run down ladders like they're running down the street, run up ladders. If you're that skilled, great, but don't do this at home. Okay, I mean, that's just for internet entertainment. Even though I'm sure there are some people that are actually that skilled at running up and down ladders in the trade world, right? But you don't want to do dumb things like that. You could end up with some serious injuries. All right, Claudette. Claudette says safety on the road. A lot of drunk drivers and crazies out there. Just make me think of the pressures on these roads. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially if you live in a big city. Yeah, that's needless to say, it's just, we know this, right? We know this. I've been in the trucking world for a long time. Okay, years. I've been trucking for years. And I've seen it all. I've seen some of the worst accidents on the road. I'm talking heads crushed, skulls. I mean, okay, I don't want YouTube to ban this, but I already marked it as not for kids anyway. So, yeah, I've seen all that. Okay, I've seen how quickly things can happen. Yeah, and it's pretty, unfortunate, right? Unfortunate, especially if you're a motorcycle rider or something like that. I've seen mangled body, you name it, I've seen it, right? But it happens that quickly. That quickly, somebody's gone because either they made a stupid move, they tried to be a hero and tried to cut in front of that car or truck and clipped another car, and next thing you know, it's all over, right? It's all over. So that's in extreme cases, but even in what we're talking about in terms of tools and home improvement projects, DIY things around the house, it can happen just like that as well. I mean, you can make the one wrong move or neglect one thing, right? You can neglect one thing. And let me give you an example. You can put a drill bit in a drill and not tighten the chuck down enough, and then you go to drill something, and the drill breaks, and the drill bit breaks, and things like that, right? Just not really thinking through and doing things properly, right? It can be as simple as hitting your finger with a hammer when you're hanging pictures, right? By the way, that won't happen if you go to calibrate.com and buy right now. Go to calibrate.com and get the Exactac picture hanging tool. You don't even need to hold the nail. You just hit it with the hammer. It holds the nails for you. Simply amazing. Okay, one of the best picture hanging tools I think that's ever created. The Exactac picture hanging tool. Go to calibrate.com. Check that out, guys. Yeah, some as simple as that. I remember when I was a kid, I stapled my finger by accident using a stapler, and the staple went right through my. I mean, I saw this. Yeah, I know you guys don't want to hear about it, especially if you're eating, right? Apologize if you're eating dinner or whatever. It's just, yeah. But yeah, safety, guys, safety. Okay, it's the little things that count when it comes to safety. It's the little things that can get you killed, it can get you injured, get you maimed, and it's the little things that can turn your project into a work of art. Right? It's always the little things. Okay. But yeah, absolutely, Claudette. Safety on the road. By the way, if you're into car repair, right? Let's just say you like fixing on cars. You got to be safe with that too, right? A lot of times, people get crushed under their car. So if you like working on your car, you're under your car. Make sure you have the right, jacking up devices, jack stands, all of that. Okay, make sure you have the right eye protection, gloves, and it's not just for fixing cars, but pretty much every project out there. Protect your eyes, protect all your vital senses. Okay, everything, ears. Go get you. Where's my? I don't know what I did with that. Protect your ears. That's we know about eyes, right? Wear safety glasses. We definitely want to have our safety glasses. Because it's so easy for something to come flying at you, especially if you're, grinding stuff or cutting stuff. Metal, for instance. I cut a lot of metal. I grind a lot of metal. And believe it or not, it creates a lot of very fine dust particles of metal, not dust, but metal particles, right? Fine as dust, even finer than dust sometimes, right? And, that stuff comes flying in your eyes and you don't even know it. Your nose, you can be inhaling all that stuff into your nostrils. All right, so protect your eyes. Also protect your lungs. Okay, you don't want to be breathing in all that stuff. It's a respirator or some kind of mask, and I know masks are so popular today, but I'm talking about a mask that actually filters out all this stuff. Right? They sell those. Buy them. Protect your lungs. You don't want to be suffering from some kind of lung issues or breathing issues later on in life because you didn't protect yourself. Protect your ears. Okay. Over time, a lot of loud noises, banging, clanging, they may not happen right away, but your eardrums are sensitive, right? They can get damaged over time. So buy you a good pair of ear protection, ear muffs, whatever you want to call it, and that's protect those things, right? Hard hat is another one, especially if you're working on a construction site. All right. All right, so also using your safety gloves when needed. Yeah, better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point of this live right here. Better be safe than sorry, right? Yeah, but yeah, protect the dome right here. I don't have a bunch of hair to kind of cushion the if something hits my head. I don't have that protection. So I got, if I'm out there on a site or something, or I'm working on something, and you got falling objects, man. If I don't have something to protect this, it's not going to look good, right? So get a hard hat. Invest in a hard hat. Um, yeah, to protect that skull, protect that brain. So these are just very simple things you can invest in when you're working on when you're getting ready to do that work. Okay, clothing, gear, feet, protect your hands, protect your head, eyes, all that stuff, man. Safety. Okay. All right. Yeah. Another thing too, guys, if you're gonna tackle a job, um, and it looks kind of daunting, it looks, but don't, like I said, don't try to be a hero. If you need help, call a friend, or somebody like that, at least to be there just in case, right? Anything can happen. If you're there by yourself and you fall, um, who's gonna, and you can't move or something like that, happens all the time. At least somebody will be there to help you, or call for help, or go get help. Okay. Um, so especially if you like working on the cards and stuff, right? And so yeah, have some, or at least call somebody before you start working on the project. Say, listen, I'm gonna be working on this. Uh, just letting you know, okay, just in case you don't hear from me, blah blah. Blah, check up on me every now and then, see if I'm doing okay. Okay, that's what you got friends for. At least I hope you got friends or somebody, somebody, right? Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So we talked a lot about safety there, safety, guys. But what about economic safety? What about saving money? Right? Like you can do things, like I said before, that are economically dangerous, meaning that it's risky to your economic well-being, right? Like spending too much money, right, or spending more than you had to on a regular basis, and you wonder why you're underwater with your bills, right? There's some simple things you can do, like around the house, to save money. Don't leave certain things on. The other day, I left my stove on. I left the house, and I was at, I don't know, a few miles down the road, and I was like, I left the stove on. Little slips of the memory like that are not only economically dangerous, that's actually really dangerous, right? Because that's could have started a fire and all that stuff. So, you know, got it turned off. A friend of mine went back and turned it off for me. Okay, and because I couldn't get to it at the time, but they could. Um, yeah, leaving appliances on, right? But certain appliances, you should not. Uh, well, I shouldn't say leaving appliances on. I should say you should definitely turn off stuff like stoves and stuff like that, things that can cause fire and stuff like that. You don't necessarily have to unplug it to save money. Matter of fact, you shouldn't unplug your stove. You shouldn't unplug your fridge, or something like that. But there are certain devices that you should unplug, because there's this thing called phantom electricity that's being drawn, or it's drawing on your electricity, even though the device itself is turned off. And that's like things like computers, like, you know, laptops, even phones, things like that. Okay. So you should unplug those all the time, even your TV, believe it or not, right? Unplug those. They account for a good percentage of your total electric bill, right? Yeah. And so, um, if you're into saving money, or, you have to get better at that, do some research on some things, things you should turn off, or at least unplug, I should say, right? Because there are energy vampires out there, taking all your money while you sleep, and stuff like that. Like, for instance, ceiling fan. I can't tell you how many times that I've left my ceiling fan on. Uh, Paragon Life knows budgeting is a must to plan for the future. What ifs can be planned for? Absolutely, Paragon Life knows. If you're not a budgeting kind of person, I I can't say that I am. I think I'm okay with money. I'm not like living in the street or nothing like that, but there's a difference between being comfortable and living check to check, and wondering if I'm going to make it till the next week or next month, next year. Okay. If you don't want to be in that situation, maybe you should start thinking about, okay, how can I budget things? How can I budget budget food, budget, recreation? I know it sounds kind of, restrictive, but sometimes restrictions can actually bring freedom, right? Sometimes too much freedom can actually bring restriction, right? So that's the paradox. That's the paradox. So yeah, Paragirl Life Notes, I think you should definitely plan as best you can. You can't necessarily predict everything's going to happen, but you can definitely plan. You know what bills are coming out. You know what bills, your bills, and which ones are regular, electric bill, light bill, all that stuff, water bill, gas bill, rent, mortgage, things like that. Budget for all that stuff, and see what's left over. And don't be afraid to go out there and hustle, guys. Put some more money in your pocket, okay? So you can do the things you want to do, not just wish for it, right? So yeah, economic safety versus dangerous economic habits, right? So very, very, very good, guys. Very good. All right, let's see what else. What else, guys? Talk about wearing the proper gear. Oh, here's a good one. I think Claudette should know about this because she's a welding student, and she knows the importance of the proper footing, right? If you're working on something, like say if you're going to weld or pretty much whatever it is when it comes to using tools, you want to have the proper footing. You want to make sure your stance, your the way you hold your footing and everything is in the proper position so you can accomplish the task with the utmost ease. If you're not in a good position, or you're uncomfortable doing whatever you're doing, right? Stop, get comfortable, right? Especially if you're not, if the world doesn't depend on you being in a contorted position to get something done, get comfortable. Then you once you do that, you can perform the job in a much more effective way. Okay. So whether that's standing on a ladder or cutting something, with a circular saw or something like that, or whatever, painting, doesn't matter. Make sure you have the right footing, get comfortable. And I know it seems obvious, but a lot of times we try to do things in the wrong positions, right? We have the wrong form, and it just ends up to a disaster, right? So yeah, get the right footing, get comfortable, and that's very important as well. And if you're using tools with blades, right, make sure the blades are sharp. Okay, you don't want to use tools with dull blades. Okay, dull blades can actually cause accidents, believe it or not, because if something is dull, you're gonna try to force it to make it work, right? You're gonna try to force it to cut. You're gonna try to force it to do whatever, and then in forcing that, you can slip or you can push it too hard, and it can cause an accident, right? So make sure you sharpen the blades or whatever you have. Buy some files, or something like that, or buy a grinding wheel or something of the sort, and just on a regular basis sharpen your tools. Sharpen them. Okay, it's kind of fun to sharpen tools as well. All right. Yeah. Claudette says, "Oh yes, being comfortable and don't forget to breathe." Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Breath control. Yeah. I would always hold my breath. Yeah. Yeah. Not good. Not good. Always, watch your breathing. Right. And that's another part of relaxing when you're about to do something. Easing the mind, and it just turns out better because you're in a relaxed state. You're not under pressure, nervous, and all that stuff. And anytime you're under pressure and nervous, you're more likely to make mistakes. Okay. That's all part of safety, right? Everything is everything everything comes together when you think about that, right? In terms of your mental stance, your physical stance, if you're nervous, hyper, just breathe in and relax and just go for it, right? Yeah. Anybody got any other ideas? Claudette and Paragirl Life Notes, they've been giving it to us, and I appreciate them for coming in and supporting and giving us some good information. That's the thing about lives. It's not just about me. I count on you guys to come in and contribute, right? Because you got a lot of valuable things to contribute to the conversation. That's what the lives are all about. It's not just me on my soapbox thinking I know everything, because I don't, right? Always learning from you guys as well. Okay. Yeah. So, anything else, guys? Anything else when it comes to safety? I mean, you probably talk forever, right? But yeah, I'm not gonna make this live too long, guys. Just want to come on here and say Happy New Year to everybody, and bring it in a safe way, and so we can get some things done for ourselves, for families, and for our communities at large. And let's not just think about ourselves, right? Let's think about the community at large, and what we can do for our communities. Okay, what we can do for our communities to make it a more productive, prosperous place to be. Okay. So I appreciate you guys. Perigo Life Notes, thank you very much. Claudette McCoy, thank you very much for coming on, supporting. And you guys take care. Catch you guys on the replay. And you guys have a good night. Take care.